What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Randy here with RTSMobilegaming, bringing you a fantastic video today. We are playing some Infinity Kingdom. Make sure you download from my link in the description below if you haven't tried it yet. And we are doing an analysis, a calculation and mathematical analysis on Yoshitsune, who is the water attribute ranged bowman immortal. He is God's gift to single target damage, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But first, let's get right into reviewing his stats, and if you haven't yet, make sure you give me a like and sub, and post in the comments below if there's another immortal you want me to cover in the next day or two over the weekend. I am taking requests. Yoshitsune is from a request from two of my viewers from the last video. Here we go. Okay, on to Yoshitsune's stats. First things first. Okay. His strength is a little bit above average for ranged damage immortals. He has one of the higher physical attacks for a ranged damage immortal. His agility, slightly above average, less than Elizabeth Bathory's, which we'll talk about in a second. So strength, above average, maybe high above average. He's in the upper echelon for ranged immortal strength. Agility, a little bit above average. His intelligence and physique aren't really worth talking about, although his physique isn't terrible. His aptitude is also decent, and his energy regen is a little bit below average. So we don't like to see this low level of energy regen in a main damage dealer. This means he's going to be dealing damage much slower than somebody else. His interval for his ultimates, just based on his base energy regen, is about 14 to 15 seconds. Okay? So that is not super duper nice. If you can find a way to lower that, hint hint, then his damage will massively increase, okay? So let's get right into talking about his energy ultimate here. His energy skill, it's called Sky Feather. All right, this thing is extremely strong, single target. It's underwhelming for multi-target, and we're going to talk about that right now. So to start, it shoots 3 arrows in a row, each in an individual arrow. They can each inflict physical damage to a random enemy unit. And if the unit has less than 50% troops, the damage increases to being 615% from 410. So from 410 to 615 if the target has less than 50% troops. Okay? That is pretty decent damage because there's 3 of those hits. So that's put your overall DPS up at 1230% damage rate percent per ultimate between 3 targets. And if you're hitting 1 target, you know, it's going to be the same amount of damage, but against 1 target. And if you're doing that damage to someone who has less than 50% of their health, like I said, you're up at 615% damage per target, which puts you at 1845% DPS. Sorry, not DPS. 1845% damage on hit, split between up to 3 active targets. So, what does that mean? Well, that means it puts you above the other high-ranking damage dealer, single-target damage dealer, which is your shadow guy, Siegfried. His ultimate does something similar. It does physical damage split equally between enemy targets within range. What this actually means is, with a single target, it does full damage to that target. It does 1320 damage to the target. So if the target has more than 50% health, Siegfried is going to do slightly higher damage, about 10% higher damage than Yoshitsune. Once the target's health drops below 15%, Yoshitsune is going to do massively higher damage than Siegfried, okay? So this is really important to consider, that Siegfried is one of the paywall blocked heroes. He is extremely strong. It's nice to know that Yoshitsune, who is not a paywall hero, is able to compete with Siegfried on single target damage and even beat him once the boss health is below 50%. So, into the skills that we're selecting. We're going to talk about first the boss skill selection, okay? Alright, so we have Sky Feather. We want to enhance his poor energy regen here in order to activate Sky Feather as often as we can. Alright, so the first thing we're going to rock is obviously Anger as the only ranged physical damage on the water lineup, because you have Merlin, who is magic damage. You can put Anger on Yoshitsune and really boost up his single target DPS, okay? So we're going to run Anger. We're also going to run Adrenaline Rush, which is going to give me a 50% chance to pop at level 5 here, a 50% chance to activate, what was level 6, sorry. At level 6, a 50% chance to gain 160 extra energy on hit, which is extremely huge. If we're attacking and we're only getting 72 energy regen, then we want to increase that as quickly as possible. Okay, so Adrenaline Rush for boss fights. You may not want to run Adrenaline Rush for PvP battles because his damage, again, against a group is underwhelming. Okay, and then I'm rocking Combo in order to do the maximum single target DPS. This is going to pass Rupture and Garrote and Cleave because those are multi-target attacks. Combo just does a massive amount of damage to a single target, 30% chance on hit, so it is very strong for fighting bosses. Okay. What does that look like mathematically? Well, let's play my most recent boss battle here, where I was running this build against a level 8. So I am castle level 34 here, and I was fighting a level 8 with my Yoshitsune. And now we're going to just replay that in the background while I do some math. It's time for the math. All right, here we go. Very good. All right. Here you can see Yoshitsune's over here. He's going to shoot things in the face. Look, you see him? There he is. He's shooting him. Okay. On to the math. All right. So, Yoshitsune here on our little calculator here. Yoshitsune, Sky Feather. His total DPS with Sky Feather active is going to be 107%. Like I said, his interval for his ultimate is 14.43 seconds. Unbuffed with no bonuses. It does no healing, CC, buff, or debuffs. It just does pure damage. For that combo, we're going to look at Adrenaline Rush, which is going to give you a damage boost. It's going to also run, we said, Combo, okay? And we're going to run Anger. So your total DPS that you're going to be dealing is 133%. Now, this is very low compared to the AoE DPS potentials from heroes, from immortals like Merlin or Elizabeth Bathory. But for a single target, 133% DPS is one of the highest DPSs in the game for single target, okay? So what does that mean? Well, that means that he is going to be dealing massive damage every time the boss's health gets below 50%. He's going to be doing an astronomical amount of damage, okay? Now, you can also run the PvP build, which is going to be something more like this. You may drop Adrenaline Rush, and you may instead run Chaotic Blade instead of Combo. I mean, you could run Combo for PvP. It's up to you. I'm actually running Garrote and Chaotic Blade. You can switch out one of these for an aura if you want, but really it's just abusing his decent physical attack stat from his strength and making use of that in order to activate the different DOT effects. So since the DOT effects hit multiple targets, it kind of adds a nice element of AoE damage to his build. I would recommend this if you're going for a damage build with him against PvP if you're lower level. If you're, if your Tower of Knowledge is level 34 and above, you can start talking about switching out one or both of these dots and putting in something, whether it's going to be, I don't know, Fighting Will or Energy Suppression or whatever. Really, it could be any one of these different good auras that you're going to be using at the higher levels. So, that's it. Thanks for watching. Give me the like and sub. I love you guys long time. Randy, out, baby. Happy Friday Eve!